was just thinking back to our earlier days, but we were both so young. The kids playing in the yard, don't run off now too far, and watch out for the cars.
And so when you were with CKW, like you said, you interviewed a lot of Nashville artists. Like I know you emceed shows too, right? Like you when the artists came to town. Now one was Johnny Cash, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you interview him as well on the radio, or did you just MC the show? Or
With Cash, I never did him on air. A lot of the big artists I didn't do on air. I gotta be honest about that, but most of them, a lot of them I did. As you can see by the pictures on the wall here, that but Johnny Cash was a good guy too, and I remember him seeing the show, introducing them at the Queen Elizabeth on stage, and standing in the wings beside him, and man, he's tall and dressed in black, including the boots, high-cut boots, and I said, you know, standing alongside of you, Johnny, I feel like I'm standing beside Abe Lincoln. And that's the kind of persona that he oozed with, you know, just incredible.
was there an artist that you wish you did interview, like on air? Was there an artist, like was there one artist that you, looking back on the career and you going, oh man, I wish I could interview that artist. Who would that be for you? Or is there one?
Not really that I can think of. I did a lot of them, and like I guess the closest one would have, if I did him, and I probably he was on top of my list. Marty Robbins was just marvelous.
Okay.
Tommy Overstreet.
Yeah, Marty Robbins had quite a bit of hits too.
Oh,
yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, he had a lot.
And he was such a gentleman, such a nice guy.
Yeah.
And the other one was Chet Atkins. I remember he came to town. He was performing with the Vancouver Symphony, doing a concert. I don't know what the Queen or where it was, but anyway, he did it more than once. He did it with Floyd Kramer. He did the Vancouver Symphony with playing Campbell. And this last time he was in town, he was on his own. And I remember he was on with Bannerman on CKNW in the morning, in his talk show.
Okay.
And I thought, how the hell am I going to follow that act? Because I'm no Bannerman when it comes to interviews. And so anyway, I'm on my way to work that morning, and I'm driving down the freeway. And I'm thinking about this, and all of a sudden it hit me. What are you worrying about? For crying out loud. Who's going to hear your interview that heard Bannerman's?
Right.
Probably not too many. And if there's a lot of them, all the better, but nonetheless, what are you worried about? So I didn't worry about it at all, and I went in. Chet Atkins came into the radio station. We shook hands before we went on the air, and he was in another room, and I was just talking to him through the glass. I loved Chet Atkins. He was a great actor and a great gentleman, just a super nice man.
Yeah, you could.
And his brother, Jim Atkins, I think his brother's name was Jim. No, it wasn't. It was the name of the song, Jim Wore a Tie Today. That's what the title of the song was. It was a narration thing that Chet did. But at any rate, I said, by the way, and I heard through the grapevine that his brother was a great singer, had a great voice. So I mentioned that to him, and he said, Yes, he said, my brother, he died I said, oh, I'm sorry about that. He said, well, don't be, Elmer. He said, how would you know? He said he wasn't a household name. And he said, I'm pleased that you know about him and that you mentioned him. So he just took me right off the hook, you know, like just like that, just like a pro that he is. And world's best guitar player. He's a dandy.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you enjoyed Vancouver and your trip here and your bit of the symphony? And I said, the show went well. And he said, yeah. He said, I always enjoy it here. He said, it's great. Anything about this trip that you enjoyed the most? And he said, well, right now, he said, I got to tell you, my most enjoyable part of my trip was this last hour sitting with you, Elmer, talking with you. And whether he meant it or not, I don't care, but he said it.
You cheated, you lied, put these tears in my eyes. Yeah, you done made it rain on my parade.
And throughout the whole DJing, you still played music though, right? Like you still did your music thing on the side while DJing?
Well, not to that extent, no. I just, when you guys invite me up, that's when I do it.
You have how many albums though that you did? 2, 3?
5.
5. Okay. So, and you were doing that throughout your DJing though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well, it took me 82 years to get on YouTube.
took you 82. Yeah. That video was from 1987 that was
Yeah.
posted on YouTube last month.
Yeah.
Right. And that was a TV show called Number One West with
That's
Brian
right.
Sklar. Was that was his show?
Brian Sklar and Prairie Fire. Good guys from Saskatchewan. Fritz Elbert is where we did it.
Okay. So you did that show, and then you also did that West Coast super country thing. That was that thing with the whole dance hall and the sheriff.
The spoof
Yeah.
show, yeah.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah, it was planned.
Okay.
There was a gentleman who had a show on VI in Victoria. He thought he'd like to do something with this, and so we said, okay, let's give it a shot.
And did you have fun doing that, or was it just like, why?
Well, I did,
You did?
yeah. But it worked out okay.
So you did that. So you've done radio. You did some TV shows. You did a commercial too, right?
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, I know about that. That was
Brownie's Chicken
right.
commercial.
You did a few TV shows.
Are you trying to tell people that I was working all those years? That's
hard,
good if you are.
yeah.
That's good if you are.
You
I
were
don't
pretty.
know if I convinced them or not, but
You were really busy. I didn't think you were that busy.
oh,
But now looking back at it, yeah, that's quite a bit. And you did Man and Woman event. You were in a movie too, not just TV.
yeah,
You also did a movie.
that's
You
right.
were- you were
the big
the-
silver screen.
Yeah.
It was a good little movie. It was shot in Vancouver.
Yeah, and you guys played the band at the
Yeah,
barn dance, right?
At the P&E Fair at the time
Right.
was, and that's where we were downtown at the P&E.
That's incredible. Yeah, you were incredibly busy back then. That's for sure.
Oh, there was a lot of things happening.
Was there anything that you enjoyed most out of all the things that you were doing at that time? Was there one thing that stood out that you looked forward to more than anything else? Would it be playing music, or would it be?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Super
I guess.
Country and myself, I really enjoyed the guys. It was incredible.
Well, and like with music and with everything, you're in quite a few Hall of Fames, as far as I know. Like you're in the BC Country Music Association Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You're in the Canadian Country Music Hall of Fame for broadcasting.
Yeah.
You're in the Western Swing Society Hall of Fame. Is that right?
in Sacramento,
In Sacramento.
Seattle, yeah, and then Hall of Fame here in Maple Ridge.
Right. The Ridge Meadows
Yeah.
Hall of Fame. Yeah. So. Obviously, you were busy enough for them to recognize that you were around.
Well, I think I bothered them enough. The only way they get rid of me is give them a
Give you
little
a plaque.
card to say that he's this, and then we won't put up with him anymore. I don't know.
And you're part of.
I thank them all. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're also part of, because this is new. The Pitt Meadows like century, like 100 years. Like you're in
Yeah.
that. You're in that category too.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. I have had a good life. My family, my wife, she was the foundation of it all. Looked after all of my, raised our children, which she did a fantastic job. Got 3 of the finest children in the whole entire world. They blessed us with 6 wonderful grandsons. You're one of them.
Yeah.
That's why this is being done, is because you're one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I know that.
appreciate it, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. No, I'm grateful he said yes to doing this, and plus because I've heard some of these stories, but because of that, that's also why I wanted to do this. Like even the Charlie the Trucker thing that you did, that album, that's like a story in itself. And
It was a wonderful opportunity, and that I was blessed with. I did a lot of things that there was a lot of things I could have done that I didn't do, and that I should have done that I didn't do. But anyway.
you also
I'm
owned
not
a
gonna
bar.
cry over spilled milk, huh?
Yeah, you also owned a bar too. You had your own nightclub.
We had a club, yeah,
Yeah.
I was a part of it. The 3 of us were in on it, yeah.
And then how long? What time? Like what year was that? That was, what, late?
Probably late 70s,
Yeah. So same time.
mid to late 70s, yeah.
And how long did you have the bar for? Was it just like a couple of years or?
We had it for about a year and a half, I guess, and then this finest con artist I was ever subjected to or got to know came in and said he needed the club, and everything is for sale on the right price. I mean, whoo. So we agreed, and we moved Elmer's place, and he had a great story. He brought a Filipino band over and promised them the world, and they wanted to get to Canada, no doubt about it. One of them is still a very good friend to this day, and who you know well too.
No, was that Jerry?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And see, he wanted the band to stay here. Well, for them to get access to Canada, they have to prove that they have a job, you know. So it ended up that being a musician, traveling musician, band anyway, hard to identify that.
Yeah.
So with buying the club, he would hire them at the club, and they have a steady job there.
Right.
So that would make it easier for them to get status here in Canada by having
Having a job that's
Yeah.
consistent in one place.
yeah. But nonetheless, like you said, that's another story.
That is. But yeah, Jerry. Okay, so Jerry was part of that band, and Jerry's
Wonderful individual. Yeah.
an incredible musician, and was part of our band as well, for a period of time.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, I thank you a bunch to agreeing to do this. I really appreciate it.
Well, my son, I I must say it was a pleasure to get this all off my chest. No, I mean, it's hard to do without sounding braggadocical, but I'm really humbled by the fact that even your own family is interested in what you're doing. And that's generally the last to come forward and say, well.
Yeah, usually.
So I appreciate that a whole lot, Trent.
Well, with that being said, that's it for this episode of Behind
Like
the
we
Mic.
used to say in sports on air, that's 30.